AKAPADers, welcome to my podcast, The Film Buff. I'm your host, Peter A. DeLuca, and yes, if you don't know from the title, Film Buff means we talk about movies. We talk about a lot of movies, and I'm just going on the run here, like post the 31 Days of Dread. That's where we do one horror movie a day for the entire month of October. But this past October, it relatively took me 4 months to complete those 31 movies. We kind of pushed it close towards 40 movies. I think it's 41 episodes in all, including the prep episode and the aftermath episode, which would be episode 539 of this podcast. A couple show notes for you to open everything up. We're right in the aftermath now too of the Oscars. The Oscars just happened. Everything Always But Once. Whatever the heck that movie's title is, it won everything it was supposed to win. It's down in history now as one of the most awarded histories in cinema. Period, or the most awarded movie in cinema. And the movie's mid. The movie's, it doesn't even hit home. The movie's not even a easy home run. There was a movie made by the Wachowskis called Cloud Atlas. I highly recommend Cloud Atlas over this one. I just don't see a lot of merit in gimmick movies. And yeah, Everything Always All at Once, whatever the heck it's called, is not an Oscar level movie. It's not even close. It's frightening and it's scary because we are dealing with the full collapse of not just the Academy, but the taste of the Academy. The taste of the Academy is no longer relevant. Moving on, I got caught watching this movie. I got The Accused. What year is it? 1993, 1994, 1988. I'm sorry, 1988. The Accused, starring Jodie Foster. Budget $13 million, box office $92 million. We like that type of return, brought to us by Paramount Pictures. Before we get into the movie, I just want to say we know how much I love music and I love the scores of movies. Brad Fiedel, he's our composer. Brad Fiedel has had a raw deal when it comes to projects in Hollywood. He gave us Terminator 2 Judgment Day. He's the guy that it really nailed the Terminator theme and delivered one of the all-time themes in cinema history, period. The Terminator theme is as prevalent in culture as the Star Wars music. It really is. But after Terminator 2 Judgment Day, you think he would go on the run. You would imagine he would get every single big movie, or at least 2 tentpole movies a year, and it doesn't quite go that way for him. He's a career guy. He's worked his entire career in Hollywood, a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. His next relevant movie, next to Terminator 2 Judgment Day, is also James Cameron's True Lies, which, you guessed it, amazing score, amazing theme, it's just good through and through. But Brad Fiedel, yeah, this would be his, you can argue, this is his second biggest movie, because I would kind of say T2 Judgment Day, The Accused, or The Accused and True Lies would be number 3. But this movie, I remember when this movie hit, and this is another feature that I caught on late night television, just watching movies by myself, drawing at my parents' house, mostly in their basement. As I would often do. That was a little bit of my process, like growing up. I would literally try and watch a movie, try and get inspired, try and get like that dopamine going, and then go draw, then go create. And sometimes I would be in front of the movie, sometimes I wouldn't. I spent a lot of time listening to movies because my drawing table was almost like in another room in our parents' basement, and the TV was in, you guessed it, the opposite room. So it just makes it a little bit more complicated when you learn about movies, because you don't really have the visual sometimes. But I got very good very young at just being able to almost like subconsciously follow what's happening in a movie. And I feel like you pick up more when you listen to a movie versus when you watch it. But yeah, I caught The Accused, and kind of had the same reaction watching it recently. And keep in mind, The Accused is one of the, like, you kind of have to go back and remember, like, newspapers, TV segments, it's like programs like Entertainment Tonight, where you would only get like a couple dribbles of a movie, and if a movie had word of mouth, it usually came from like your parents and people around you. And I pretty much remember my grandmother talking about how this movie was like in the news, and it was violent and it was sexual, and it shouldn't kind of be seen. Only the adult of the adults could see this movie. So of course, like when it comes on cable, I'm just just excited, because this is not also a movie you would go rent from the rent from the video store. Like you would not waste the time going back and forth to the video store to get a movie like The Accused. But all of it too, like it was all about Jodie Foster, the scene, blah 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 blah. And what this movie does, and if you don't know about the plot, this is somewhat based on a real life case of a girl who's gang raped in the bar, and she goes on this vision quest. She goes on this quest. She will not be denied, but she wants her accusers brought to justice. And this movie ebbs and flows in if that's going to get done or not, because everyone who was a part of the rape goes to jail relatively early in this movie, and then we have the people that cheered on the rape, and that's the real plot. That's like the trial, the tribulation. That's Atlas fighting off the eagle. You guys know what I'm saying. Atlas fighting off the eagle was that's a bad analogy, but it's the David versus Goliath. That's what I was thinking of. It's the David versus Goliath aspect. But then we get Jonathan Kaplan. He's our director. Kaplan, again, just like Brad Fiedel, career guy. But Kaplan has movies that I like in his filmography. I had no idea he did the Matthew Broderick I'm Going to Take a Monkey, Project X. He's done unlawful entry, which we like. We like Unlawful Entry. Bad Girls, 1994. Yes, the all-girl cowgirl movie. 94, before things, are the way they are now. I mean, if they made Bad Girls now, what would people say? Right? Like, I kind of feel like we gotta talk about that. But yeah, and my other fascination with thinking about this movie is, how would The Accused be looked at today? It's interesting. It's interesting if this movie came out today. It's also interesting if this movie won Oscars today, because this was the first of Jodie Foster's 2 Oscars. She would later win for Silence of the Lambs. The last movie, I believe, to get Best Actor and Best Actress side by side. Maybe the last. I would have to double check that. But yeah, what would The Accused, how would that be received today? That's a very important question. It's an important idea to let permeate when you're watching this movie, because this movie is nothing but a recommendation. And it's also a good track if you want to get into the fascination with like a procedural courtroom drama, which is really everywhere in entertainment today. People are locked into that type of thinking. People are locked into that type of entertainment. And it's not going away anytime soon. But we love watching court cases unfold, or watching the legal system unfold within a drama. And this movie was kind of there, because we got a lot of these in the late 80s and throughout the 90s. It really kind of cresting like a wave crest. What am I saying today? But at the peak, really going into the 2000s, where we had just endless TV shows, just really milk what that formula was. But we get an early entry in some of that, and this movie was popular enough to capture people, inspire people, and all that. And it's a full recommendation on that. It's a full recommendation on seeing what a true actress can do with her material, Jodie Foster. we also have to give a little bit of a shout out to our Top Gun girl, Kelly McGillis, is in this movie. This is also her second greatest movie. She is amazing in this. She plays the lawyer that is sticking with her victim through all of this. The lawyer too, as these stories like to do, the lawyer too is under fire. It's not just the victim, it's also the lawyer. And like I said, like, this movie hits all of those tropes, but it was also of a time where these tropes weren't so prevalent. A lot of the courtroom drama, the courtroom idea died, again, being a little bit less substantial in the 40s and the 50s. Those were two decades that had a lot of these types of movies. But when the courtroom drama came back, it just never went away, just like Star Wars. And I guess we're the worst for both of those scenarios. But this movie, it's a great case study. It really is. It's a great study of career directors, actors. Tom Topper, our writer, he's he's got accolades. He's got like a awards for plays, novels. He's known for the courtroom drama. He's known for that type of storytelling. Again, a career telling those types of stories. And, Jodie Foster, seasoned and career. Big shout out too for Jodie Foster, who has become a good, decent, prominent director. I would let Jodie Foster should direct a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. Just give her one. She can do it. And I'm only saying that just because we all know the MCU needs some fresh blood on the other side of the camera, because they got nothing but talent in front of the camera. But yeah, everyone, not my typical movie to discuss. The reason is because I really want to embody and live up to the idea of the film buff, and a lot of this stuff is me discussing how I meander in my viewing, and I don't want to be bound to chasing some of these trends anymore, even though it's fun, and I'm having nothing but fun diving into Shazam. I had nothing but fun diving into everything Black Panther for Wakanda Forever. So the next episode we're doing, episode 541, is going to be The Fugitive. Right, it's not Shazam. I'm doing Shazam later. I might just schedule a couple episodes to drop this coming Saturday, which is one full day from now, because it's going to be St. Paddy's Day. I can schedule them to drop during the day, so maybe people have time to catch some of them at night. But Shazam really is not getting social media traction at all. I found that out through my YouTube videos. People are just not interested in it. But the character itself is absolutely fascinating. And yes, Creed 3. I did see Creed 3. I did want to discuss some of that with you. That movie's sitting with me because it's just a little, in my view, it's a little bit all over the place. But this movie is a straight up recommendation. I can't recommend it enough. And it's good to put yourself in the time that this came out. And just understand that courtroom dramas weren't big. Jodie Foster wasn't Jodie Foster yet. And we have nothing but veteran seasoned talent around this movie. And the movie flows. The movie is I don't want to say like perfect, but it is so well made. It's just there, and it's amazing when you watch everyone hitting on all of their cylinders while making this flick. So it is a little bit of a study in that. In studio filmmaking, by the way. So rock and roll, people, AKAPAD, the film buff. We're getting it done. We're doing more. I love you guys. Goodbye.